All you sports fans out there, and welcome to the Hot Seat Sports Talk, the Revival, episode 5. It's April 23rd, and with us today is former Michigan State Spartan wide receiver and Super Bowl 50 champion and successful author, Mr. Bennie Fowler. Bennie, welcome to the show. Nice to have you on today.
Nice to meet you. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into it. You went to Detroit Country Day High School in Beverly Hills, Michigan. Did you play any other sports at Country Day?
Yeah, I played basketball and I ran track. Those were my first couple sports. I didn't start playing football at Country Day till I was a junior in high school. So my first couple of sports were basketball and track, and I'm actually a state champion in track. We won a state championship as a team, and then I won it individually my junior year in the long jump, as well as basketball. We won it in 2007 as well. We won a basketball state championship. So those are my first two sports in high school. And then my junior year, I became a 3-sport athlete.
Wow, that's awesome.
Man, you can do it all. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I try.
Did you like playing offense or defense better in high school? Because you excelled at both.
I didn't really play that much defense at Country Day. I played in a select few games where I would play some defense, playoff games. But other than that, I was primarily offense. I always wanted the ball in my hand. I'm not a big tackler. So I definitely always wanted the ball in my hand. I actually have more NFL tackles than I do high school tackles.
Wow.
All right. So since I'm a student now at Michigan State, I would think that I should get to start off with some Michigan State questions for you.
Yeah.
So when it came to recruiting you, how did Michigan State recruit you out of high school? And were there any other offers from other schools that tried to recruit you, like you visited them, or what was that process like?
Yeah, I had about 3 or 4 other offers. I wasn't a highly recruited guy, but Coach Dan Enos came to Country Day. He was recruiting Jonas Gray and Kenny Dimmons at the time. And my high school coach told him about me, and they had a little bit of interest. But then when I came up to Michigan State camp going into my senior year, I ran a fast 40. I ran a 4.3 back-to-back times. And that next day, I was actually going up to Ann Arbor to visit Michigan. And I don't know if it was Coach Rodriguez at the time, but I was going up there to visit them. And on my way up there, Coach D offered me a scholarship, and one of the best days of my life, visiting Michigan. That visit I wasn't even thinking about going there anymore, especially, the kind of way they were recruiting me. And I think I committed to Michigan State maybe that next week or a couple weeks after that. But, very thankful for Coach D. I actually just got off the phone with him 2 days ago. So, we still have a great relationship, even though he's now retired. But, yeah, so I had some other offers, but Michigan State was the one. It was the one that I really felt home with, especially because a lot of the values that Michigan State had, my family had as well.
Wow. That's just, I think you made the right choice, obviously. Sticking with the green and white instead of the terrible maize and blue, in my opinion. So you answered my next question. So, Brian, to you.
I already had the game. So on Spartan Field, or basically on and off Spartan Field, what was your favorite memory that you had?
Just the relationships that I built at Michigan State. I see the Kirk Cousins jersey and Aaron's background. That was one of my quarterbacks up there, very successful person. He's doing very good things in the NFL. Then Connor Cook, Andrew Maxwell, my quarterbacks up there. But, all the relationships that I have with the receivers, those early mornings, and then, those parties, and as well as school and going to class together, you spend a lot of time with those guys. So the relationships that I developed over time is one of my best memories. And then, if it was on the field, playing at Spartan Stadium was always incredible on Saturday mornings, taking that walk down that field before the game. But my best memory would be winning the Rose Bowl. That was a perfect day. Not a cloud in the sky. The grass was perfect. It's just like when that smell of that football grass is just totally different. And that feeling on that day, that sun being out there and us winning that game in that historic fashion is my favorite memory.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite memories as a Spartan fan, just seeing Tyler Ellsworth and Darian Harris making the stop on 4th and 1. Um, is probably one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in Spartan history. And so to cap off that tremendous game. So, like I said, with Cousins behind me, you had Kirk Cousins and Connor Cook at your time at Michigan State. What was their leadership like on and off the field, in practice, in the locker room, on game days? What were they like?
Two totally different leaders, two different personalities. Kirk was very, very serious, very straight to the point, but a very good leader, very good motivator. Connor, more personable in a way, but Connor was just going to go out there and let it go. So that was his leadership style. He was going to go out there and he was going to let it fly, and he was going to go out there and make plays. And he was an incredible leader. They were both incredible leaders, both historically two of the best quarterbacks that Michigan State's ever seen. So,
Right.
awesome dudes. And now that I've looked at your background again, I've caught passes from all of those quarterbacks.
That is correct. That's why I put them up. I just couldn't find room to put Connor's jersey up. But also, I had a question. What was Mark Dantonio like as a coach? Like, in practice, because we don't, as fans and media and stuff, we don't get to see what he's like every single day in practice. We get to see what he's like on the field during games, but we don't know what he's saying to you guys in the locker room and practice. So, what was Coach Dantonio like in that sense, and what did he mean to you in your football career?
Have you ever seen any of his interviews?
Yeah, I
That's
have.
the way he is, though. The way he is with reporters and other people, he's very stern, he's very strict, but he's also a personable guy. He has a soft side, but that side doesn't come out that much. But he cares about his players. He cares about their education and who they are as people. And then it comes to football. So he's big on relationships. He's big on discipline. And he turns boys into men in his program in a very good way. And, to me in my career, he meant a lot. He showed me a lot of tough love. He knows how to handle people, and he knew how to motivate me. He showed me a lot of tough love, but it was the love that I needed. And I never took it in a disrespectful way or anything like that. And that's why our relationship is still good to this day. And he's actually going to be on my leadership series. So we had a good conversation, and we just got a chance to reflect on the ups and downs that we had at Michigan State. We had a lot of ups, only a few downs, but the way we rebounded from those down times was always special. But he always kept things in perspective, and he always kept us moving forward.
So we spoke to Darian Harris, one of your teammates, 2 weeks ago on the show, and he is in charge of player engagement now for Coach Tucker's staff. What do you think? What do you think of how the transition's going from Dantonio to Coach Tucker?
I don't know. I can't say just yet, but I'm glad he did hire Darian, because Darian knows what it took for our program to change. And he can relate to the players, and that's what you need. You need to be able to relate to the players, especially because the coaches are a little bit older and they're not in touch with everything that all the players are. So I think that's a great hire by Mel. I don't know Coach Tucker just yet. I've heard a lot of good things about him, especially because I live in the Denver area. So I'm very, very curious to see how he's going to do this year. But he's got my full support. Just because he's wearing green and white. So I look forward to seeing what they're going to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully with Coach Tucker now in the reins for Spartan Nation, our fans are going to be able to, hopefully see a better season for us. You also earlier talked about some relationships you've had with your previous MSU players. Out of all the guys you played with at MSU, who do you stay in contact with most now?
I mean, everybody really that I've played with, just because social media makes it so easy for us to communicate. So, I talked to Kirk. We played against each other. Jarquez all the time. We have the same agent, Darian Harris, Shalik Calhoun.
Oh.
Le'Veon, saw him, during the season a couple times. So just so many people, obviously Draymond and our relationship is good, but, he's a basketball player. But everybody from Michigan State I talked to, just that's what, Spartans, it's all about family. Michigan State's all about family. So, I talked to all those guys, Trey Waynes, Andre Sims, all my guys, BJ Cunningham, Mark Dale. So,
oh yeah, what huge, just boatloads of talent there. And you just led into my next question. How did you meet Draymond, and how do you guys have such a close relationship or friendship with him being a pro basketball player in the NBA and you being a professional football player?
I met Draymond maybe in 2007 through a mutual friend, my best friend from high school, Jordan Dumars. And then we ended up playing on the same AAU team. And that's when we really became, good friends, I would say friends. And then he would come down to Bloomfield Hills where Jordan and I lived, and he would hang out. And then we competed against each other in high school. And then we competed on the same team. He was on the older team for the family. And then we both ended up at Michigan State. He was a year older than me. And then I think our friendship, we got really close at Michigan State. Just from we want to be successful. You try to surround yourself with like-minded people. And a lot of the things that I want to see out of myself, Draymond brings those out. And he brings those characteristics out. He shows me a different style and a different way to be a leader and to achieve some success. And I think we build off of that, off of each other. And then we just, we enjoy the same conversation. We talked on the phone for an hour yesterday, and, just good conversation about how things are different in the NFL and the NBA. And, that's just kind of how it goes. And, your relationships and your friendships just grow from there.
Well, absolutely, especially now with everything that's going on. So communication for everybody is key at this point.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do just some rapid fire questions with you. Just basic questions, just to get to know you better. So, Brian, start off with you.
All right, first question for you, Benny. What is your favorite place to eat around campus at MSU?
Pita Pit.
See, it's a good tip for him. Being a freshman.
Once I get back to the school year.
Yeah. Favorite quarterback to play with in your career?
Won't answer that.
Ooh, okay.
They're also good.
Exactly.
Best NFL city to visit. Best NFL town.
Ooh, best NFL town. I mean, you can't really go wrong with New York. I mean,
right.
It's an incredible city. And then everything in Jersey is incredible as well. But also you have like a place like a Seattle. Oh,
man.
It's a really nice city.
Yeah. Wow.
What is your favorite place to vacation at?
Cabo, Mexico, Cabo San Lucas. I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times.
Right. All right. I hear it's a nice place.
Very nice.
Favorite athlete, like your favorite athlete growing up as a kid or as a teenager?
Late, great Kobe Bryant. It's always been my favorite athlete. Still got all the shoes, dating back to when he was with Adidas. He's been my favorite player since I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah, he was a superstar.
Mamba mentality always.
Yeah, it wasn't even about him as a basketball player. As I got older, it was more about, his mentality and the way he attacked every single day and who he was as a person.
Absolutely.
Next question. What is your favorite ice cream flavor from the MSU Dairy Store?
I've never even been to the MSU Dairy Store.
Wow.
Every time it would get warm out and everything like that, the line would just be ridiculous, so I never went.
You're very right, though. It can get pretty long.
That's understandable. And favorite movie of all time?
American Gangster.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. So, all right. So now that's the end of our rapid fires for you, Benny. We're now going to shift from Michigan State to your time in the NFL. So we're going to start with Brian in Denver.
All right. So Benny, as an undrafted free agent, did you try to get a hold of teams, or were teams contacting you?
Contacted my agent after the draft. They contacted my agent, and there was maybe 15, 20 teams that contacted my agent. Detroit offered me the most money, but I decided to go to Denver. If I could play with Peyton, I could play with anybody. I actually just saw Peyton maybe like 10 minutes ago. Well, not 10 minutes ago because we've been on this call for 17 minutes, but I actually just left. We left the same workout facility, so he's doing well.
Wow. Obviously behind me. So, so I have like a kind of a nutritional question because I've always been fascinated by this. What's your go-to either pre-game or post-workout meal or snack you like to have at the professional level? Also, what kind of professional teams like Denver offer to players to gain more muscle mass?
Kind of what?
Muscle mass.
What kind of exercises?
Meals.
What kind of meals do the organizations like offer? Because I'm curious about that. Could you tell us a little what it's like inside those organizations, what they do with the meals?
Oh, yeah, it's like a buffet style. So when I was in Denver, buffet style, as well as New York, it's like a buffet style. It's different food every single day, but it's fresh. But it's pretty much whatever you want. And however you want to go about your diet and your routine is really on you. If you need help with it, they do have help you with it.
Do they have dietitians to help with that help certain players, especially like rookies or any type of other players, help them like get on a certain diet, or if they need to back on weight or lose weight or gain muscle or lose muscle mass in that type of matter? Do they have dietitians?
Oh yeah, they have. There's usually a dietitian on staff, so there's always somebody in there to help with your diet.
Excellent. That's awesome because I've always wondered on how NFL players eat every single day. That's a very great tidbit of information to know. So thank you for that. And so, what were OTAs and training camps like in Denver with Peyton Manning in charge of the locker room?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were any different than any other team I've been on. The attention to detail might be a little bit different. But usually, with a guy like myself, I'm an undrafted guy, so I have to have attention to detail all the time. But they were pretty intense. They were very intense. It was like a game because he's super competitive. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. 100%. Because I've been watching him since I was 6 years old, and all my life I wanted to be a quarterback like him, and ended up turning out to be a kicker. So I mean, that's just how it plays out sometimes,
Yeah, that's just life. Nothing wrong with that, though.
I have no complaints.
Nah, they're always fun to watch. Nonetheless, football's football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next question for you is about the 2015 season. So it was a big season for you and the organization of the Denver Broncos. So in the first regular season games of that season, did you guys know what the team could be and if they could win the Super Bowl just through those first few games?
Yeah, I know if we were going to win. Yeah, our team was set up to win the Super Bowl with just the amount of talent we had, the free agent acquisitions that we made the year before. It was definitely time for us to win the Super Bowl. And that's how the team was built like that. So we knew the expectations coming in. We definitely knew the expectations coming in. So the tone was kind of set.
So everything was kind of just set up in the way the offense was set up in a perfect way. The defense, especially that year, was set up in a absolutely brilliant way under Gary Kubiak as your head coach that year. So going to the AFC Championship game that year against New England, you as an offensive player, late in the fourth quarter, you're on the sidelines. There's nothing, you're watching your defense, like guys like Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware out there on the field, trying to stop Tom Brady from driving down on you guys late in the fourth in that AFC Championship game. Like, what was it? What was it like? Just what was the atmosphere like on those sidelines? Was there like so much tension? Was everybody just so nervous that Brady could end our season right here on this drive, but our defense is pretty strong and confident. What was the sideline like during that late fourth quarter drive by Brady?
It was nerve-wracking. We were up by 8, so that was the more comfortable feeling that we were up by 8. So they have to get a 2-point conversion in order to tie the game. But in typical Tom Brady fashion, he's probably one of the only quarterbacks. It's a couple of quarterbacks where I'll stand up and actually watch them while they're on the field, and he's one of them. It's just incredible to see. But in typical Tom Brady fashion, and it was about 2 minutes, maybe less than 2 minutes left on the clock, and they drove down here and they scored a touchdown. We just stopped them on a 2-point conversion. So. It was just an incredible game and incredible feeling.
Yeah, it was. Tell you what, for me watching at home, it was definitely nerve-wracking watching on television. I tell you that for sure. So it was a great game, great stop, and then you guys advanced to the big one, the big game, Super Bowl 50. So.
Yeah, just seeing that game, just seeing that entire football season. 2015 is when I really started getting into sports more, and just seeing that game, seeing how you guys performed, it just made me, wow, sports is just so amazing. I just had to keep watching, and now I'm here to this day with Aaron hosting this great show. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I thank you guys for those amazing games. So as Aaron just said, you guys beat New England to advance to the Super Bowl, and we know what it was like on the scenes during the games and your reactions, how you guys felt. So looking behind the scenes, what was that entire week leading up to that game like? Like, what was media day and like other events like leading up to that big game against the Patriots?
Or against Carolina.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Carolina. I was thinking AFC Championship, so.
Media day was cool. That stuff is kind of cool, but, after the whole week is all media. So it's kind of annoying. It's kind of crazy. Just the fact that, you're answering the same questions, that they're trying to bait you into saying something and giving the other team bulletin board material. But we were very confident that week. It was a great week of preparation. I don't know. It's just a crazy week. You can't really. I haven't even been asked about that week since we won. So just thinking about it right now, it's just it was a lot of fun being in San Francisco. Going to the city, doing some shopping, having your family come down 3 or 4 days before the game, all your family staying in the same hotel. So that is cool. It's a great week, and there's no other week in sports like it, just because it's the anticipation. The football games are only once a week, and the fact that that Super Bowl, you got like 7 days leading up to it. You get there a week before, you're in that city a week before. And it's just, this is the last game of the season, and it's all out there. So it's just an incredible feeling. You don't really feel the pressure, but as the week gets closer to the game, it's like, all right, what are we here for? Let's remember what we're here for.
Here for one thing, and that's the Vince Lombardi Trophy, to take that thing home to Denver, which you guys did, 24-10. I remember that score so vividly. Another question, like you said, if you guys had that entire week, did you or the team know going into that Super Bowl that it would be Peyton's last game as a pro?
Had a feeling about it, especially the night before the game. The night before the game, you could kind of tell. He and DeMarcus Ware got up the night before the game and addressed the team, and it was just like, yeah, this could be it.
Yeah, and what a way to go out, huh? What a way to go out for
now, like a champion. Came in as a champ, left as a champ. And so we're fast forwarding all the way to the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl. C.J. Anderson just scored a touchdown to put you guys up 22-10. And now it's time to go for the 2-point conversion. And you caught that 2-point conversion from Peyton. Were you the first read for Peyton
on that play? And what does it mean to you knowing that you caught ultimately Peyton Manning's final pass in the NFL?
I don't know if I was the first read. I don't really know the quarterback's reads, but he did say in the huddle that, give him some time to get the laces, and that he was going to throw it to me just because of the way they were getting ready to play, the formation that we were getting ready to be in, because I was in the slot. So it means a lot, though, that he trusted me in that moment. It meant a lot because that comes down to trust, especially in a big game like that, and for him not to blink at all and say, "Hey, I'm throwing it to you," especially when you have two of the best receivers in the NFL, and Demaryius and Emmanuel on the field, and he trusted me. It definitely meant a lot, and catching his last pass is awesome, and I'm glad to be a part of it and linked with him forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a sweet moment. Not only see my favorite quarterback, complete his last pass, but to complete it to a Spartan that is also a Bronco at the same time. So that was just, for me as a young 15-year-old watching, it was just so awesome to see. And especially the celebration dance after that 2-point conversion was pretty awesome as well.
Appreciate that.
So after winning the whole Super Bowl, after trophy ceremony, after everything, did the team have an after party after the game? And if there was, where was it at?
Yeah, both teams have an after party after each game or after the games. Super Bowl, that's how it's always done. It's always at the hotel, though. Families are invited, everything. There's food, but everybody's family can be there. So it was at our hotel. Flo Rida performed, but I was only there for like 10 minutes, and then I went downtown. Draymond sent me a car, and he threw a party for me downtown San Francisco. Introduced me to some, great people like Lil Wayne. It was just a great night. So a lot of teammates went downtown San Francisco as well.
Yeah, Lil Wayne
cool.
just he was on the Masked Singer this season. So, so going back to Denver after all the parties and the celebration that you guys after the Super Bowl, when you were in the Super Bowl parade in Denver, were you on a float or on a car? And who determines where people are at for that special event? Like who's on what float, who's in which car? Like how is that determined? Because we as fans, we don't know. We don't know how that's determined.
We were on fire trucks. Yeah, we were on fire trucks, and you could just get on each one. But I think they put Peyton and Von on like the first one, like the main guys, the captains on the first couple of fire trucks, and then everybody else could get in how they wanted
to. Who are you on? Who are you with on a specific truck for that parade?
I was with one of my teammates, Capri Bibbs, on the truck. I forgot. There's maybe 2 other people with me, but it doesn't even matter who you're with. Everybody's on the team together. It doesn't even matter.
You're celebrating the win.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine being in Denver, being a part of that celebration for that parade. So that's awesome. And again, congratulations on that Super Bowl, because that is a monumental achievement for anybody. And for the career you had in Michigan State, all the work that you had that you have done to work up to it paid off.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Kudos to you. So going from Denver to New York, from one Manning to the next, what are the biggest differences between playing for Eli and for Peyton?
What's the biggest difference?
Yeah, what's the biggest difference between the two of them in terms of like their leadership?
I won't answer that.
Okay.
Ooh. All right.
I'm not gonna pit 2 brothers against each other in differences in leadership or anything like that. They're both great leaders, both great people.
Okay.
Both have 2 Super Bowls, both have MVPs.
Good. I respect. What else could you ask for?
Honestly. Respect. Yeah, absolutely.
Not pitting the Manning brothers against each other. We're still talking about Eli Manning. If you don't mind answering this as well. What was the culture like around the team when Eli Manning was on his way out and Daniel Jones was making his appearance onto the team?
It was still fun. There was a little bit of awkwardness just because, Eli's such a decorated player, but sometimes you just can't. Daniel's the future, and Daniel's going to be really good. And I think Daniel learned a lot, especially in terms of leadership, making reads. And Daniel's got a bright future, but I think he learned a lot from Eli. And I'm glad Daniel had that mentor that he needed coming into the NFL. So I think Daniel's going to, benefit well from that.
So speaking of Daniel Jones, you caught his first touchdown ever in the league in a preseason game against the Jets. So when you scored, did you give the ball back? Did you give the ball back to Daniel? Because it was his first touchdown in the league. Like how was that? Like how was that celebration? And how did you feel about catching his first pass? And how did the team feel about him finally just getting a little bit of wind underneath his wings in the league?
Yeah, the team felt great about it. Everybody was happy for his success. Eli was really happy for his success, especially the coaches as well. And I was happy to catch, his first touchdown pass, even though it was a preseason game. I was very happy because, that means he trusted me. And I knew he was coming to me. We developed a great relationship and great friendship throughout the year. And I actually talked to him a couple of days ago as well, just on the leadership series. And we did a Zoom call. But, our relationship has grown and will continue to grow. And we'll continue to be friends regardless of what team I end up on. But, Daniel, him throwing me that ball, I gave it back to him because it was his first one, and he deserved it. He's worked hard to get to where he's at. I look forward to seeing what he's going to do in the future. He's a great dude, and he works really hard.
That's awesome. Real quick, because before we get into some other questions, before we go here, the NFL draft is tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask this question to you, Benny. Who do you think, or what are your top prospects coming out of college into this draft? If you looked at it, if not, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't. I see what they talk about on NFL Live and the prospects, but I haven't even watched enough film on those guys. I just hope all my Spartans get drafted. Those are the guys that I really know some things about. But other than that, it doesn't even matter where they get drafted. The draft doesn't really mean anything to me. It's just, what are you going to do when you get into the league? I've seen first rounders be bust. I've seen first rounders do great. And then I've seen guys like Chris Harris Jr. I've played with Wes Welker. I play with guys who haven't gotten drafted. So the draft really doesn't mean anything to me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like Philip Lindsay, another Bronco, who went undrafted as well, and look at the success he's had with the team as well. So I mean that's a great insight. So I mean the draft. I mean we don't know. It's just what you do with the opportunity is all that really matters. Doesn't matter if you're pick 1 or 256 or undrafted. It's what you do with the opportunity. Mm-hmm. So.
I mean, just hearing that, I never really thought about too much like that before, if I'm being quite honest. And I feel like younger people haven't either. So hearing that from you, Benny, that's really, really great insight to a lot of people should be hearing because, it shouldn't matter where you get picked. Just matters what you do. Just work hard, play hard, honestly.
Exactly.
Wow. Brady was picked 199.
Exactly.
So,
not a great
it's a flawed science.
So after hearing that great logic, we have a few more general questions we'd like to ask you, and I will start. So did you swap any jerseys with other NFL players from different teams, and did you keep any memorabilia or confetti or champagne bottles from the Super Bowl or anything like that from that game?
Yeah, they gave us actually a huge box from it, the confetti from the game ball, a beer from the game, maybe a bottle of champagne from, when we won. So they gave that to us in a big box when we actually won or got our rings. So I got that, and I've jersey swapped. I got, jerseys from some of the best players to ever touch football. I got Saquon, Odell, Eli, Peyton, Demarius, Emmanuel.
Wow. That's quite a collection. That's quite a collection.
And all my teammates, anybody that I played with at Michigan State, I have their jersey. So I have Kirk, Le'Veon, Shalik, Lawrence Thomas, Trey Waynes, Marquez.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, because that's I got my own Denver jersey, but it's probably nothing compared to what you have, Benny. So how? So I know this personally because I've been so grateful to see it firsthand, and you've been so grateful the past couple of years. How'd you come up with the idea to have a football camp back at Country Day for those kids?
Just to give back the way I grew up, and you always give back to the community. And the way I got started in sports was going to camps just like that, and then getting out there, playing out there, having fun, competing, and that led me to the life that I have now. So why would I not give back? And that's something that my parents always taught me, and that is something that will always stick with me.
Because I've seen the camp and the way I was fortunate enough to volunteer a few times at your camp, and I've been so grateful for those opportunities and what you do and how you and the foot doctor coordinate those camps for those kids is unbelievable, and it's a great way for you to give back to those kids, and it's a great way to do it too, with you and a couple other your Michigan State friends like Darquez, Shalik, Draymond, and stuff like that. When they come in, just seeing the looks on the kids' faces is priceless, and knowing that they get to work with them is another gift in itself. So major kudos to you on that and your team for that.
Thank you.
And it's just an awesome event.
So you are not only a successful college athlete and are a successful NFL athlete, you are also a successful author of a book, Silver Spoon, The Imperfect Guide to Success, as Aaron is showing. How did you come up with the idea to write and publish a book? And to the viewers out here, where are people able to buy this book now?
Because we will post the link on to wherever they can buy this book.
Yeah, they can buy it on Amazon or Kindle. And the reason why I wanted to come up, I wanted to share my story with people. And also not just my story, but the stories of my mother, my father, my brother, who the book is dedicated to, on their perseverance and how they got to be successful in their lives. But also some of my friends who are successful. We all took different paths. That's why I call it the imperfect guide to success, because you don't have to follow a certain formula to get to achieve success. Success is whatever it is for you. So you have to have your own definition of success, but in order to be successful, you're going to have goal setting. You're going to have discipline. You're going to have to be able to handle adversity, handle success. But also for those kids out there who think that being a professional athlete is the only way to make money or make a lot of money, I want them to know that there are so many different ways, and that there are entrepreneurs in my book, and as well as my father, who was the vice president of Ford for 10 plus years. There are other ways to make a lot of money, but you're going to have to put in the work. Success isn't going to come to you. You have to go to it. You have to put in the work. So that's the reason why I wrote it.
And obviously with us college kids, we've had a lot going on. I've been reading your book, read like 2.5, 3 chapters last night, and I gotta tell you, it's probably one of the best things I've ever read in a very long time. And it really hit home to me when I saw your part on Michael Sadler, because always the prizes in the journey, always.
Yes.
Because I knew Mike and you were teammates with Mike. So just reading about that, his pillars to success, and your wisdom and your guide to success it's a great book. It's a great read for anyone who goes out and buys it. It's definitely money well spent, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. And finally, most recently during these times, you and Draymond Green you guys have been doing like hour-ish long webinars to help guide people through these tough times. Did you and Draymond come up with this idea to have these webinars, or was it somebody else that approached you guys, or how did that unfold?
No, we both had the idea just to spread some love, some positivity, to give people just an opportunity to help them understand the mindsets that we have. And this is the time to grow your mindset. This is the time to spread positivity. This is the time to grow as a person. So we both came up with the idea of just sharing that with people.
And I fortunately saw one of your webinars, and it was great hearing from both of you guys and your different takes on how to handle certain things, especially when you guys addressed on how college kids like us need how to handle this type of situation, being at home, learning from home, just how to just keep going, stay motivated, keep grinding and persevering. And those webinars, it made me feel really good. It made me feel like I could conquer anything. And hopefully that's what everybody who watched got that message as well.
You can conquer anything.
So, and it's just always, Benny, everything that you've done, rather from writing books to having camps, playing Michigan State to playing with Denver to New York, you've had a great football life and a great football career, and we hope it continues for you. And we hope deeply that your success continues on in the future, and we'll see you back on the field very, very soon. And we greatly appreciate you coming on with us today and talking about these experiences with us.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
So thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Benny.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you very much, Benny.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one.
All right. All right. So what a show. That was Super Bowl champ. That's all I could say. Right. I mean, that
good guy at heart too. Just staying with his moral values, just having respect for all these people, having great advice for everyone. What more can you ask for, just from a person in general?
I mean, in the catch, his last pass. I mean, that's a pretty, and to play with all those quarterbacks, catch passes from all of them. I couldn't even imagine. And that's all the time we have for this week. Apologies to Broncos punter Sam Martin. We ran out of time.
Speaking of Broncos,
yeah. So, and we'll be back next week. The link to Bennie Fowler's book on Amazon will be in our bio for this episode of the show. So please go on and give it a look. It is a great buy. It is a fantastic read, especially during these tough times as well. And Brian, I recommend it to you. I recommend it to everybody.
Oh, for sure. I'll definitely try to get a copy on that.
To give it a great read.
Oh yeah.
So, and we will be back next week. Everybody, please stay healthy. Please stay safe. We're almost through this. And as always, keep it fresh.